Good afternoon, and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland. I'm Jim Foster, Director of the Club, and pleased to welcome you to this special forum with Peter Lawson Jones, President of the Cuyahoga County Board of Commissioners. The manner in which Cuyahoga County governs ourselves is changing. With the election last November, the voters determined that there will be a new structure. No more county commissioners, but an elected county executive. And with the elections coming this fall, there will be new people in new offices. However, the business of Cuyahoga County must still go on, day in and day out. 8,500 county employees come to work every day, and tens of thousands of county residents across 38 cities, 19 villages, and 2 townships, which make up Cuyahoga County, depend on the continuing and effective operation of county government. And that government is headed by Peter Lawson Jones. Peter has been at the City Club podium several times, addressing the important issues affecting our community, whether it was specifically as commissioner or whether he wanted to turn our attention to important and other social issues that are important, such as the issue of fatherhood. Peter has provided insight and understanding about the complexity and challenges facing our community. Peter Lawson Jones became a county commissioner in 2002 after 2.5 terms as a state representative. His service as a public official has been of the highest standard, resulting in many, many leadership positions and numerous awards for excellence. In addition to his elected positions, Peter serves on advisory boards of many nonprofits. A very partial list includes United Way Services, Habitat for Humanity, Earth Day Coalition, Senior Corps of Retired Executives, Shoes and Clothes for Kids, National Black MBA Association, and the NAACP. Peter is also a lawyer and in private practice is a partner with the firm of Retzel and Andrus. He attended Harvard undergraduate, where he graduated magna cum laude and has his law degree from Harvard. And because he seems to have both an abundance of energy and enormous talent, Peter's love of theater has led to his appearing in several plays, and he has written the drama The Family Line, which has been successfully produced at Caramoo, Harvard University, and Ohio University. Peter, we know the importance of this forum is to report on the ongoing work of Cuyahoga County Board of Commissioners, which will continue for 8 more months. But it is also an opportunity to say thank you for the extraordinary leadership you have provided our community for more than 3 decades. The podium is yours.
Well, 1 mic down, still 1 to go. The first thing I would like to do is to thank my wife, Lisa Payne Jones, for getting me down here with about a minute or 2 to spare. And she violated no traffic laws in the process. Thank you, Lisa. I'd like to thank Jim for the wonderful introduction and the great work that he's done here at the City Club over the years. I was just recalling with Jim that I think my first time speaking at the City Club might have been back in the late 80s. When we had a little heated, controversial issue out in Shaker Heights. I was on Shaker Heights City Council. I might have even been vice mayor at the time. And I had offered legislation to end discrimination at private and country clubs in that community. And a debate ensued over the proper legislative approach to accomplish those ends. And I believe my good friend Alan Malamed and I had a spirited debate on that topic here, and my goodness, that's over 2 decades ago. And I do think I have indeed been at the City Club a few times. In the interim, want to once again thank the City Club for not only its wonderful work overall, but certainly for opening up its venue today for discussion of what's happening in Cuyahoga County. I want to give also an expression of thanks to Carrie Miller, who was quoted in the Plain Dealer's tip-off column today, and she said that we can sell out Peter Lawson Jones every time he comes to the City Club. Well, since I will be without a job at the end of the year, perhaps, and since I'm such a wonderful profit center here at the City Club, maybe Jim and Carrie, we can work something out. My honorarium will be modest, I assure you. Now, you might ask, why a State of the County address? I think this is probably the third time during my 8 or so years that I've served on the board of Cuyahoga County Commissioners that I've had the privilege of serving as the board president. I believe in all of those years we've offered a State of the County address. I think it has to be done not because I need another opportunity to be behind a podium, but I think it needs to be done because Cuyahoga County is an extremely important governmental entity and authority that greatly impacts what happens, obviously, in the city of Cleveland and surrounding suburbs, but also what happens at the county reverberates throughout the region, indeed throughout the state. And I think it's very important that residents of the county have as good idea as possible of the things that are happening in our county government. I also thought it was very important, particularly given the challenge, I use a euphemism, the challenge of the last 2 years, to let people know that all indeed is not rotten in the state of Denmark. That actually there are a tremendous number of great things that are happening at the county, not that we're without our challenges. I mean, who is without challenges today, whether it's private sector, public sector, nonprofit world, the philanthropic community, faith-based community. In our individual lives, we all are works in progress. All of us are greatly challenged. It's no different at Cuyahoga County government, but the fact is there are a lot of wonderful things that are happening, things that we should be proud of as citizens in this community. Also, I wanted to give you an opportunity. I hope there's a program for today's remark because this is a historic occasion. This is the last State of the County address by a county commissioner, because we're going to have obviously a new form of county government next year, and so the programs today should be a nice little keepsake. Hopefully, you'll be able to offer them on eBay at some point for a king or queen's ransom. Now, when I was elected by my colleagues for 2010 to serve as the board president, I suggested and offered 4 primary objectives that I wanted to make sure that we collectively, working with our extraordinary staff, and I see many of our wonderful county administrators and employees in the room today, and I'll have a little more to say about them as we move on. I said there were 4 things that I really thought were critical to make sure that they were undertaken and achieved in 2010. First, that we maintain a balanced budget. Now, that's a challenge, and that's on the to-do list every year, and it certainly is in 2010, given the economic circumstances that we've been besieged and beset by, particularly in Northeast Ohio, over the last decade. It was also important to all of us, especially to the residents of this community, that we passed our Health and Human Service levy. That was the second objective of this, our last term in office as county commissioners. I wanted to make sure that we had substantial progress on our Medical Mart Convention Center project. And the 4th thing, I wanted to make sure that we did everything possible as current county employees and officials to make sure that the transition to the county executive form of government went as seamlessly, as flawlessly, as humanly possible. Well, fortunately, I can already check one thing off the to-do list, because last Tuesday, in yet another expression of magnanimity and generosity, the voters in this county overwhelmingly passed Issue 15, our Health and Human Service levy. And thank goodness we did, because otherwise there would have been an $80 million direct, actually $90 million direct hit, and when you think of the dollars that are leveraged, another $200 million hit on county government that would have not just frayed, it would have severed our Health and Human Service safety net in this community. Now, notwithstanding what I believe our Deputy County Administrator referred to in his quote last week as a rather toxic environment, both from a PR and an economic standpoint,